Hello everybody, welcome to the weather forecast. My name is Dooley Godot, your meteorologist. Most of y'all know who I am. You also know me as Mr. G. Thank you for joining me today for today's video. And in this video, we're going to talk about your weekend forecast as well as the forecast into next week. So thank you for joining me. If you're on TikTok or YouTube, feel free to leave a subscription on YouTube and follow me on TikTok. Comments and likes are always welcome. Go ahead and engage with the video. And we're going to start today's video and talk about the severe weather threat that's going to be occurring across the Midwest as we start our new week next week. So we're going to jump into that first. And I think it's probably about time for me to change my opening screen here because we're not going to have to worry about winter storm again to next winter. So let's jump into that first video. So in today's video, we're going to start off with that severe weather threat, and we're going to have an open door from the Gulf of Mexico where lots of Gulf moisture is going to stream into the Midwest on Monday. So we're going to see lots of Gulf of Mexico moisture streaming northward into the upper Midwest. So Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, and even into Minnesota and Wisconsin, we have a warm front up there that's going to be bringing in some thunderstorms, as well as a cold front that's going to extend from the high plains down back toward the southern Rockies and into the desert Southwest. A dry line is going to set up here over West Texas and the western plains, and those dry lines are going to be making for some interesting thunderstorms across the high plains. So we're going to see some of those elevated upper level thunderstorms that's going to make for some beautiful rope tornadoes or maybe even some stovepipe tornadoes. And we're going to see that big gorilla hail. Those storms typically produce some very large hail. This is when you see the golf ball size hail or the baseball size hail or even softball or orange size hail. So very large hail occur typically with these high plains dry line thunderstorms. So we're going to see that setting up next week. So a very active severe weather scenario here Monday through Wednesday of next week. And here is our next map as we talk about that severe weather threat that we are going to see on Monday. And the biggest threat is going to be a pretty significant severe weather outbreak where we can see those large tornadoes and very large hail and damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour here from Texas and from west central Texas all the way up into Iowa and southern Minnesota. We can see the potential for some severe isolated severe storms up that way, but a very busy corridor here along I-35. The I-35 corridor from Minnesota down to Dallas, Fort Worth, we're going to see that potential for a pretty significant severe weather threat on Monday. And we're going to also see that severe weather threat shift a little bit to the east and into the Mississippi River Valley area. So Mississippi River from Minnesota all the way down to Louisiana and Shreveport, we're going to see the threat for some severe weather. And we're talking about tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds as well. And heavy rain is going to lead to some flash flooding. So a pretty significant severe weather threat as we head into your Tuesday. And again, here we got some rain to talk about now, and that's going to be currently ongoing here across the Northeast. So we have a low pressure center over eastern Canada, and that's bringing rainfall to parts of the Northeast, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of snow mix in through parts of that as well. But we're seeing very heavy rainfall across the Northeast, where we're still going to be picking up maybe a half inch to an inch of rain over parts of the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast and up into New England as well. We're going to be looking at some rain showers to continue through Sunday. Here's a look at some of the rainfall that we've seen this year through some parts of the Northeast, and we've had a very wet start to the year, and we're seeing that some parts like Providence, Rhode Island, that 26.14 inches of rain is first for the rainiest start to a year we have here in 2024. So many of these places are in the top 5 wettest starts to their year. So very wet, soggy start to 2024 across the Northeast and into New England. And here is where we're going to see that potential for flash flooding across the Northeast as well. So we have the greatest risk for flooding here across Maine and into Vermont. We're going to see the biggest potential for flash flooding across New England, and that's for Friday and into Saturday. And again, we're going to see a flood alert, so because we have a flood watch in effect across the interior portions of Maine as well as the half of Vermont, we're going to see that potential for flooding there. So we're going to see heavy rain, and it's going to continue the snowmelt. It's warm enough for rain. We're seeing lots of rainfall, so that snow is melting off of those mountains rather quickly. So we're seeing a lot of river runoff, and we're seeing rivers running high and overflowing their banks. So we're seeing a lot of flooding because of heavy rainfall and additional snowmelt. And there's also winds associated with this storm system that's affecting the Northeast. So a very strong onshore flow. So that's going to be leading to coastal flood and beach erosion, maybe small craft advisory. So we have very rough seas off the coast of New England. That's from Nantucket all the way down to Cape Hatteras. So a very rough go there. And so with the additional rainfall in the Northeast, a bit of interesting, probably good news to me, because I like the warmer weather, and that's going to be taking place across a good portion of the center of the country, and we're going to see very warm weather, very warm summer-like temperatures beginning to take shape across a good portion of the Midwest and the plains. Look at our record heat across the plains potentially, and we have those temperatures. We're going to see a forecast high of 85 in Pueblo, Colorado, 77 in Colorado Springs, Dodge City, Kansas, 90 in Concordia, Kansas, 90 as well. And you can see those record temperatures here. So some records could be broken or at least tied. So we're going to see a few other places making a close run at some of their previous records. So some records are expected to fall with this mini heat wave that's coming up. And here is what we're looking at today as far as temperatures across the plains and the Midwest. And we're seeing it a little bit cooler across the northern tier, but that warmth starting to build in down across the south. If you look at Texas, Oklahoma, and into Kansas, parts of eastern Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, Nebraska, and New Mexico as well. So we're seeing warmer temperatures, starting to see those 80s come into play, and we're going to start to see 90s work into the forecast, and we're going to see those warm temperatures, 80s making it all the way up to Minneapolis tomorrow. 81 degrees for a high in Minneapolis in mid-April. Unbelievable. So that's very cool for me. I like that warmer temperatures, those warmer temperatures. 80s in St. Louis. We're going to see the 69 in Chicago as that warm air is just beginning to move into that area as we head into your Saturday. Still a bit of a northwesterly flow in Chicago, but we'll see those winds shift to the southwest, and that's going to bring that warmer air and that moisture air, more moist air as well, as we're going to see thunderstorms break out across much of the Midwest as we head into the weekend and into next week. Alright, so as we get into your Sunday, look at that 73 up there in Chicago, 87 in St. Louis. Memphis is going to see a temperature of 82, that 82 down there in Jackson, Mississippi, 80s over Texas, 89 in Lubbock, 83 in Dallas, 90 in Oklahoma City. Wichita also going to see a high of 90, our first 90s of the year across the plains. In Denver, 81 degrees. That's going to melt off the rest of your snow that you could still have laying around. Casper is going to see 73. 80 up in Pierre, South Dakota, 74 in Minneapolis. So a beautiful weekend across on tap as far as the temperatures is concerned across the Midwest. And we're going to see those temperatures continue that way on Monday as we see those temperatures begin to fall back across Oklahoma City to 80 because of clouds and thunderstorms. So we're going to see that severe weather. So that's going to somewhat limit the temperatures as far as how high they can go because of cloud cover and severe thunderstorms. So your first 90 tracker, and these are areas that can see their first 90 today. So down here across Texas, mostly, maybe in Oklahoma City, and maybe a spot or two in Kansas as well can see their first 90. On the West Coast, we got another storm to talk about that we're going to see beginning to affect California on Friday today. So we're seeing this low pressure center dropping down the coast of California, and we're starting to see rainfall affected northwestern California and into Oregon and Washington. So Seattle, Portland, we're going to see some rain showers today, heading down into northwestern California. And here's our storm system progressing further down to the south on Saturday, but we're going to see that rain moving into central California. So Bakersfield, Santa Barbara, Point Conception, we're going to start to see some showers getting close enough to LA and San Diego. Going to be close. Maybe a sprinkle or two, or maybe a brief shower might pop up down there somewhere. But most of the rainfall here will be from Santa Barbara, points northward into northwestern California, up towards Mount Shasta. This is going to be a mostly all rainfall event, so we're not going to really talk much about snow across the Sierra Nevada. Might be some snow at the 8,000 or 9,000 foot elevations because it's very warm out there. Again, here is your rainfall forecast through Sunday on the West Coast, and we're going to see maybe about an inch of rain or so along the central coast up to northwestern California. That's where the more steady rainfall is going to fall, and then we're going to see some heavier rain against the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, and we're going to see some snow in the high elevations of the Sierra Nevada. So that is your weather forecast for your Friday and your weekend. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me today. Leave your likes, comments, and feel free to subscribe on YouTube and follow on TikTok. I will see you guys all tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.